It is important for educational leaders to understand both their successes as well as opportunities for development to ensure continued professional growth. To that end, I have recently completed a leadership inventory, which I will review here in the context of educational leadership theories. But first, let's take a brief look at the inventory itself. What is it? What does it actually measure? The educational leadership inventory I completed was the Emotional Quotient Inventory. This assessment measures an individual's emotional intelligence through an online self-rating assessment tool. It was actually pretty fun to complete. My results were generated as a workplace report, focusing on performance in the workplace in the context of emotional intelligence. The results were further broken down into 5 composite scores, which can be seen as the major sections of the wheel shape in this image. Subscales within each area are also indicated, such as seen here towards the middle section of the wheel. For example, the subscale for stress management is made up of flexibility, stress tolerance, and optimism. The interplay between subscales is also provided in the results to identify opportunities for more balance, which I found to be a very helpful and interesting way to understand this feedback. Next, let's briefly analyze this particular leadership inventory. Can an EQ assessment produce valid and reliable results that are relevant to leadership? The answer is yes. According to the Consortium for Research on Emotional Intelligence in Organizations, the Emotional Quotient Inventory is backed by research and provides a valid and statistically reliable measure of EQ. Developed by Ruben Bar-On, this is considered to be one of the 3 major models of emotional intelligence, encompassing emotional and social competencies that influence human behavior and relationships. When considering the context of my educational leadership situation in the School of Fashion at Kent State University, an inventory that assesses EQ therefore feels relevant and valid for assessing my own practice based on the following. Emotional intelligence is often considered more important than IQ in today's workplace when it comes to successful performance and effective leadership skills. Researchers have identified that EQ is a critical part of the decision-making, vision, and teamwork that leaders need to succeed. They also suggest that if academic leaders are emotionally intelligent, their institutions will in turn excel and may maintain a competitive advantage over other schools. So now, let's dive into my specific results in the context of my role managing the New York City Study Away program within the School of Fashion at Kent State University. The 5 competencies included can be seen here: self-perception, self-expression, interpersonal, decision-making, and stress management. We'll take a brief look at each one individually to consider how my results impact my leadership practice, including both my successes as well as my opportunities for development. My results indicate a high range of self-perception. I respect myself and am confident in my abilities. I find purpose and enjoyment in my professional work. I am interested in self-improvement and understand my emotions and their impact on others. An example of this is my recent decision to complete both my master's degree and begin a doctoral program after the age of 40 in the pursuit of lifelong learning. My results indicate an average range of self-expression. I am able to express my emotions both verbally and non-verbally. I communicate effectively, and I often work in a self-directed manner. I do have an opportunity to further develop my professional independence. An example of this might be continuing to develop my autonomy as the leader of a team that is always remote from our parent organization in Ohio. My results indicate a high range of interpersonal relationships. I am able to develop and maintain mutually satisfying relationships. I empathize strongly with others, and I take social responsibility seriously. An example of this can be seen in the wide range of people I successfully interact with, from deans to factory owners to vice presidents of buying to fashion students. My results indicate an average range of decision-making. I am able to find solutions to problems when emotions are involved. I see situations objectively in an effort to make plans, and I am able to understand when and how to act. But there is an opportunity for me to make further development in my ability to be objective. An example of this might be encouraging myself to be more firm and realistic, especially when dealing with students. My results indicate a high range of stress management. I demonstrate flexibility in the face of changing conditions and priorities. I cope well with difficult situations and people, and I have an optimistic and positive outlook. An example of this has definitely been my ability to navigate the challenging situation at work over the past several months due to the pandemic while maintaining a balanced and healthy lifestyle. And finally, it's worth considering what this information might mean for me in my future as an educational leader. We are currently living through an unprecedented time in higher education due to the ongoing effects of the coronavirus pandemic. In my own situation, the New York City Study Away program has been canceled until next summer, and therefore, my role has changed as I navigate delivering the core elements of our program in a digital format, as well as work on special projects and problem solve for new issues as they arise. It is quite apparent that my interpersonal competencies will remain the most important when envisioning how my results may possibly impact both myself as well as my key constituents in the immediate future. So what do my results indicate when it comes to, well, me? My results also included a well-being indicator, providing an overall assessment indicating satisfaction and contentment with life as both a contributor to and function of emotional intelligence. This included the specific feedback that I am seen as motivated and resilient in the face of obstacles and remain positive during adverse conditions, which will be very helpful considering our current situation. My happiness results are in the high range, indicating a strong level of emotional health and well-being, which I believe will be helpful not only personally but also professionally as I continue to navigate in an uncertain environment. And how about for the team I lead in New York City? All of the New York-based instructors are adjunct faculty and have been told that they will not be resuming their positions with us until at least next summer. This uncertainty regarding their future employment with Kent is stressful, so it will be essential for me to actively continue leaning into my interpersonal competencies to lead my team. By making the subscale of empathy a focus when communicating and interacting with them, I will be able to address their needs and continue to support the team through this unpredictable time. What will my future connection with Main Campus look like? With no opportunities for face-to-face interactions in the foreseeable future, either when colleagues visit New York City or when I travel to Kent, maintaining the professional relationships I have worked so hard to build may become more difficult. My interpersonal competencies will again be very critical to support this need, with the focus on the subscale of relationships, where trust, mutually satisfying results, and connections are a focus. And how can I stay present as a leader for our students? Again, leaning into my interpersonal competencies will be important, especially in the context of the current focus on social justice at Kent State University when considering how to support and lead students within the School of Fashion. As a leader, I believe I am responsible for social change. Focusing on the subscale of empathy, I have been striving to recognize and understand the feelings and needs of our students in service to our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Finally, what might this mean in terms of our alumni and the industry? It is a very difficult time in the fashion industry, with many companies closing or filing for bankruptcy and employees facing layoffs and job loss. Interpersonal relationships and empathy will be needed to understand the nuances of what industry contacts or alumni need from us right now versus during normal times, and how I can best support them. This will be extremely important to maintaining my authentic and compassionate relationships with these constituents. This is an important quote to me personally and applies to my professional life as well. As I continue on my path as an education leader, it is my goal to keep learning and growing along the way, making the journey itself the destination.